Hello and welcome to another episode of Do You Remembaer? This is an ongoing video series where every week I read an article from someplace on the internet, it's often Wikipedia, and I do my best to remember what I just read and tell you about it. So we're going to talk about Adolphe Sax. That's this did I get you right there? Yeah, Adolphe Sax. Read the Wikipedia article about Adolphe Sax. You can find a link to it below, and here is what I can remember about that. So let's get right off the bat. His last name is Sax. He created the saxophone. Did he name it after himself? You bet he did. He's also the inventor of the sax horn, which would later be modified and built upon as the euphonium. He worked on a bunch of different instruments, trying to work between like the precision of a woodwind instrument, but the kind of the sound of a brass instrument like a trumpet or a tuba. So he worked on like a trombone. So he worked on that, and the saxophone is the most well-known example of that. He is Belgian. Technically, he was born in a region that is now known as Belgium, but in the early 1800s, it was not. He's most famous for working in Paris as a builder of musical instruments, a designer of musical instruments. He had patents. He also would later teach at the Paris Conservatory. But if you at the time, if you had or of his life, if you had asked people local to him in Dinant what he was known for, it would be as the young sax boy, the ghost, because he avoided death at numerous times as a youth. He, at the age of 3, he drank water that was acidic, full of like acid, thinking that it was milk. Survived that. He fell like 3 floors and landed on his head on a rock and was presumed dead, but was survived. He later got hit with a different rock and fell into a river and almost drowned. Other things. He survived poisoning, accidental poisonings on numerous occasions, and also once went to sleep in a room where there had recently been varnished furniture, which he did not know at the time, and he almost died of asphyxiation. There might be more that I can't remember right now, but basically everyone's just like shocked that he lived. As I said, they called him the little sax ghost. And his mother was quoted as saying that she did not think that he would survive childhood, but he did. Speaking of his parents, they were both the Saxes. They were both, in their own right, accomplished builders of instruments that were known for that. And of course, he would go on to do that as well. And you're saying, Pat, well, of course, the saxophone took the world by storm, right? Because it's like such a cool sound, and it is kind of a woodwind, but also a brass instrument. It must have done fantastically well. And it didn't in orchestras. There were a few people that really liked the instruments that he was patenting, but it didn't really catch on in your big orchestra moves and all that. People weren't going back to some of the classics and writing in saxophone parts. But the people that did love it were the military, and that does sound weird because you're like, wait, did the French military want saxophones? Why? Well, because military marching bands, really liked that it was a precise instrument and it didn't require a lot of maintenance. And so it became very popular in military bands. Also because you get a really good sound out of it. So it became very popular there. That led to him working for the Paris Conservatory as a teacher. It really did encouraged adoption of the saxophone, which of course also led to people trying to make their own, and then there were lots of patent disputes, which he did not win all of. He was bankrupt 3 times. He did die in poverty, which is not fun, but is true. And he had a rough time with it. Some of his other inventions weren't as successful. There's a photo there of like a trumpet with different, like the idea of like you would move your hand between different like slides, and that didn't catch on. But He is obviously known for creating the saxophone. I believe he also worked on a bass clarinet, like modifications of the bass clarinet. There are some other instruments. Flugelhorn, perhaps. I might be misremembering that. And so that's his legacy, right? And it's a shame that he died in poverty. Now, his childhood home, back in his hometown in Belgium, there is a museum dedicated to both his life and the history of the saxophone, which is cool. And that place is called Mr. Sax's House, which is a great name. Mr. Sax's House sounds like it is a children's program. It's just a good name for a museum dedicated to the man and the thing. Personal note: I am someone that plays the alto saxophone. Alto saxophone is currently in storage in New York, and I do wish I had access to it here, but I don't. Love that thing. I studied the alto sax. On Twitter, the passage about all the like ways that the creator of the saxophone like cheated death was making the rounds, and that inspired me to read up about Adolphe Sax. And his name is like also like he's got like a something Joseph like with an A, but everyone called him Adolphe and not Adolphe. It was Adolphe. As far as I can tell, looking up pronunciations, especially how Belgian folks would call it, would say that name, which is why I'm not saying that his name is Adolphe. And yeah, that's all I can remember about it. In the comments below, you can tell me where I screwed up. Did I get some times wrong? Did I miss something important? Is there an instrument he made that you really like that you wanted to let me know that I didn't? I should have said something about. Also, do you have something my voice cracked there. Apologies. Do you have something you'd like to see me cover in a future Do You Remember? Maybe something that isn't on Wikipedia. I should probably do that because so far it's always been Wikipedia articles. But yeah, let me know if there's something you'd like to see me cover in the future. Thank you so much for watching this video. Why don't you hit the like button there? Leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.